So if I have confidence in reason, that doesn't mean, again, that I always have confidence in reason. It means I give assent to this. I want to embody this trait. But it doesn't mean that I'm embodying it right now when you're telling me, Linda, there's a problem with your thinking. And maybe I can't hear that because of my egocentricity. I'm down this narrow path and you're saying, hey, what about these paths over here? I'm saying, wait a minute, I've got it all figured out, Gerald. I've got it all covered. I don't need your help. And that's I think that's more the natural state of the mind. Of course, I have confidence in reason. Of course, I want to hear the facts, but I'm not seeing often that I'm missing something.
Yeah.
And that's because of, again, our egocentric, in this case, egocentric orientation.
Yeah, I think that's really important to emphasize, and that these are traits, meaning if I have confidence in reason, say to a considerable degree, then I tend to have confidence in reason, or I strongly tend, but it's not invariable. It's not automatic. And sometimes, and in many circumstances, I may have to really work to have confidence in reason because my ego or my sense of myself feels like it's on the line, and I can't separate myself from my words. So my words might be mistaken, and thus I was mistaken, but I can be perfectly okay with that. But all the traits are like that. That is, they're things that we tend to do, strongly tend to do, want to do, and sometimes work to do more of. But they're not things that we're certainly not perfect in, but many times not even close to perfect. Lots of failings embodied in much of what we do.
And when we are having to shift our thinking, fit the evidence, this can be very difficult because we're coming from the point of view that I already had it figured out. Now I don't have it figured out.
Yeah.
So let's say somebody comes to a critical thinking workshop, someone who's taught for many years. It's a person who's a good thinker intuitively, let's just say, but is faced with this idea that maybe my thinking, my teaching all this time for these 10, 20, 30 years or whatever has not been that great. Because I haven't actually reached the students as well as I could have based on what I'm learning now. And it takes a lot of courage. Now, this is intellectual courage to say, I've been wrong. But it's all right that I've been wrong. I have to be all right about that in order to follow this new evidence. And I can't have my identity connected to the way I've always taught.
Yeah. Donald Hatcher, whom we both know in critical thinking, he said he had this, to me, very profound observation in that he taught his course for many years, and he got tremendous evaluations. Sometimes they were 100% positive, the highest ranking. And after thinking about critical thinking and teaching for a long time, he gradually came to the conclusion that he was actually just doing all the thinking himself. He was just laying things out, and the students were then following what he said and giving back what he said, and they were all uplifted by it. And so he began to make it more question-oriented, more student-centered, and required them to do the thinking. And they would ask a question, and instead of answering it, he'd say, well, how are you thinking about that? And what evidence do you have? And he'd ask the good critical thinking questions. And what do you think happened to his evaluations?
I know what's coming.
They went down. I mean, they didn't go to the bottom, but they went down considerably from where they had been before. So notice Don Hatcher took it in an uplifting way, but you could see that it could really be a blow to my ego to have not just have my evaluations go down, but to realize that they were up for many of the wrong reasons all this time. Maybe partly because I'm charismatic or something like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so in that case, I think this is one of the ways in which critical thinking is freeing.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
you're you have to be all right with that. You have to be all right with those evaluations coming down,
Yeah.
because you know that the goal was not to have excellent evaluations to begin with.
Right. Yeah.
And this is one of the problems with teaching and learning now, with political correctness coming into play. This idea that everything should feel comfortable in the
Right.
classroom.
Yeah.
Education is not comfortable.
Right.
And
Right.
confidence in reason is does not make us comfortable,
Hmm.
because often we're having to follow the facts wherever they take us, and that may take us to realize we've been wrong all these years.
Hmm.
Very few people can handle that.
Yeah.
But
It's
if you believe
yeah.
in competence and reason, you
Right.
are right with that. You
Hmm.
realize that you are going to learn things potentially about yourself that you now are glad to learn, even if that means that there are negative implications in other ways, in other parts of your life, or whatever
Hmm.
the case may be.
I just want to stick the word tend to in there. You're going to tend to feel that that's all right. I'm thinking sometimes what you learn about yourself through negative evaluations is valuable, but painful. And I may not feel all right about them.
Mm.
Um, yeah. Yeah. So,
Well,
tend to.
you will be, it may be painful, but it's like, it's a good kind of pain, something
Uh,
like that, because
uh,
you're realizing that you've got to face these facts.
mhm, mhm,
And you're right, it may be uncomfortable, but you have to triumph over that. And
mhm,
that's the feeling that I'm
mhm. Yeah.
focusing on.
Right. Right.
Mhm.